Okay, let's check the time. Are we ready to go? It is 9:30. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar on healthy, non-gimmick eating. As promised, I have a special guest today, Tehzeeb Lalani. Tehzeeb is a friend, but she's a certified nutritionist from NYU. But I secretly think we both became friends because we both eat plant-based, and no one else wants to be our friend. Do you think that's what it is?
Might be part of it, yeah.
I'm serious. I actually had a friend who said, I don't call you home because I don't know what to cook for you. And I'm like, it's vegetables. How difficult can that be? But more and more so now, I actually find that when I go out or when I invite people home, I do offer them whatever they'd like to eat. But they're like, no, we'd like to try what you are. And that we have some pretty yummy food in the house. So
now I think it's very trendy to be eating plant-based, clearly, with the documentary.
Well, yes, I hope everybody's done their homework and watched the documentary, The Game Changers. If you have any questions, go ahead and start putting them into the chat. We'll answer them one by one. But while that happens, I do have some questions for you, Tehzeeb. So if we can begin, let's start at the beginning. Why has eating gotten so complicated? Why are we so tyrannized by our food these days? Why all these fads?
Yeah. So I think that there's a couple of things. One is that nutrition science is, the research is constantly evolving and changing. So in a way, I think that's good that we're constantly finding new things to do or to learn about. And we're trying to tweak how we eat as per that. That's one of the things. The other thing is that the human body is very complex, and there's a lot that we still don't know on a molecular level. So we could eat the exact same food, but the way you're able to metabolize and process it versus the way I am able to do that might be completely different.
Okay.
And there's so much that we don't know about it.
Okay.
That's the second thing. And the third thing I would say is that because of that, because everybody has a very unique relationship with their eating, with their food, something may have worked for someone, and they want to start talking about it. And they might not necessarily be credentialed, qualified, but they have a great story that they want to share with the world.
Yeah, I got thin and I got fit.
Yeah, and
exactly
this is
like
what
me.
I did. Exactly,
Yeah,
and this worked for me, and now this is just what everybody should do. And that might not work. So I think between nutrition research and the credentialed professionals and the people who've gone through a journey, and everyone's saying something different.
Absolutely.
So it's very hard then to figure out which one would be applicable to you and which one you should follow. So I think for the end user, the consumer, you're left feeling very conflicted and confused.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, half of social media and the media, in fact, newspapers have got things about, eat this today, eat that today. And okay, so you mentioned that there's a lot that we don't know. What do we know about good eating? What are the basics?
I think that's a great question. And I think that we ought to do what we do know is not going to change. So I don't think anybody debates on the fact that fruits are healthy or good for you. I don't think anybody is arguing about the fact that processed foods are bad for you. I don't think anybody's arguing that exercise is not good for you. So, these are things that we do know. You can eat your fruits, you can eat real foods that are not processed, and you can exercise. And these things will be good for you. So I think that it's good to stick to what we do know is fact.
That is an extremely disappointing answer. It's not going to make hashtag headlines.
It's not glamorous, and it's not. I wish I could say that. I'm going to give you this one food, and you eat it, and miraculously, all of your problems are going to go away. All of your weight is going to go away.
Yeah.
But that pitch really works very well for the industry that's selling that food. So if I'm selling green tea, then of course I'm going to tell the consumer that this green tea is the best green tea in the world, and it's going to make you achieve nirvana. But unfortunately, that's very, very far from the truth.
It's not going to, nirvana doesn't come in a box.
It doesn't.
So if we have to think about, we know the basics, everybody knows it at the back of their minds. This is how most of us have grown up before, QSRs and big brands came into India particularly.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a couple of scenarios now. Say I'm trying to lose weight. I work out maybe 2-3 days, go for a walk or whatever. What are the broad outlines of what I should be eating? That's one scenario.
Yeah, I think I'm unfortunately going to have another sort of non-glamorous answer for you, but I'm going to go for it. So to be able to lose weight, and I work with a lot of people every day who are trying to lose weight, you have to figure out what is it that got you to gain weight in the first place. And when we say gain weight, we're talking about, people usually refer to fat, right? And then there's different kinds of fat.
Mhm.
So there is one fat that your body is used by your body to protect you. That's the subcutaneous fat. You want that. That's
Okay.
not bad.
Yes.
Then there is the adipose fat, which is the bad fat, which is the one that makes you feel flabby, or like the one that we want to pinch and
Absolutely.
have some
Flat.
apps on social media that make it go away. I don't know, all sorts of things. So that is the one that you do not want. Now, why have you put that adipose fat on in your body might really vary. So, for example, you might have gained weight because you are working 12 hours a day and you have a job that's sitting, and you're sitting at your desk all day. I may have gained weight because I'm emotionally eating, because I'm going through something in my life. So first, it's very important to understand what are the problematic behaviors in your life because of which you have gained the weight, and then you work on those. And that might look different for different people.
Okay.
So the self-awareness, or being able to see a professional to understand what's happened, is very important.
And in this, how damning are your genes and any medical conditions, or like what?
Yeah.
How much of a percentage does that play?
Yeah, so I think your genes, your hormones, these are the two things people love blaming when things don't happen.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm just genetically cursed, and my hormones are just, that's just how they are. But so genetics is a different story. So there is a lot does get determined by genetics, and nutrigenomics is a very up and coming field. Again, we really don't know much about it. So by the time, I would say in the next maybe 3 or 4 decades, I might be able to look at your genetic profile and be like, okay, this is exactly what you should eat to be able to be at your optimal body weight. But we're very, very far away from that
Yes.
yet. But even with, that's something we don't know. But even with what we do know, there's a lot that we can do. And hormones are completely lifestyle based. So if the minute you're able to fix your lifestyle, whatever that looks like for you,
Yes.
Your hormones start functioning better and correctly, and then that will help you get healthier, get fitter, lose the bad fat from your body.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we don't realize that. We just take like a condition like PCOD or thyroid as like a given, and then now we have to live with it. But
Yeah.
Recently there's been studies that show that even type 2 diabetes is completely reversible with
Absolutely.
healthy
So these
lifestyle.
are all, these are all lifestyle diseases, and I love calling them that. And that basically just means the minute you change your lifestyle, all of it just will get reversed. But I think we like kind of victimizing ourselves a little bit and being like, oh, I have this disease, no, I have to have. And I mean, it's also, I think, with the health industry, it's sold to you a little bit like that. You're told, oh, you have to be on these medications for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that might not be the case. If you clean up your lifestyle, you might actually be able to get off of these medications or lower the dosage of your medications.
Absolutely. I see that a lot as well, but it's getting that mindset change, right?
Absolutely.
Any kind of change takes a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And everything in our nature is trying to keep us exactly where we are,
Yes.
and to not go, because then it becomes uncertain, it becomes scary, and then they're worried like us that we may not have a life, or we become weak, or
Yeah.
we just don't know what's out there, and that's what keeps us in the safe zone.
Absolutely.
And in our comfort zone.
Absolutely.
But that's the mindset that I think both of us have been working on, trying to change with people
Yeah.
that want to change, right?
And I think that behavior change is really hard. If habit change is very hard. I mean, you know that. And but I think if you're able to use the process that we have, if you're able to build it up in small steps and make small changes at a time, if there's willingness, if there's ability, you create the environmental triggers that you need to, it's very much possible.
Okay.
But like you said, I think it really involves you getting out of your inertia and your comfort zone to be able to facilitate that change.
But I mean, you're saying small change, but why do we all love big change? We're doing our keto diets, we're doing our intermittent fasting because we want overnight.
I think you really hit the nail in the head over there. So I think in concept, we really like the idea of like a grand change, right? So you want to have, like, I'll go back to the green tea. Nothing against green tea, but I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
I'll give you this green tea, and I'm going to tell you overnight it's going to solve all of your problems. I think that's so much more enticing than me telling you that, hey, listen, you're going to have to go to the gym several days a week for at least 6 months, and you're going to have to do XYZ with your food. I think that's a lot less enticing, right? Because it takes effort on your part.
Absolutely.
So,
but how about the people who say that I have seen big change when I'm on keto, or intermittent fasting has worked great for me. I've dropped 8 kilos. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Let's talk about it one by one. So let's talk about the ketogenic diet first.
Okay.
So that I think was created to help children who are going through epileptic seizures, because the idea was that if you increase the fat in your diet, your brain is made up of fat tissue, so it kind of helps lower the episodes of these seizures, which was effective for that. Now people are using it for like a whole different reason. I will say a couple of things. One, I will say that for your body to go in a state of ketosis is very difficult. So it's not, you might not necessarily just be in a state of ketosis either, even if you think you are. If you're eating something like keto cookies and keto cakes, that's just a buzzword now.
So we're not actually going into ketosis at that point.
Magically eating a cookie because it's called a keto cookie is not going to put you in a state of ketosis. I mean, there's a whole process around it.
Okay.
The other thing I will say is that it is very dangerous. It comes with a lot of side effects. Now, just because these are not side effects that you can tangibly see, you can't see what's happening to your kidneys, you can't see what's happening to your brain cells. But that doesn't mean that it's not there. So I think that is very dangerous. And ultimately, I would just encourage people to ask themselves, if it's something that you cannot do for the rest of your life, is it worth getting onto in the first place?
Well, I get a lot of like post keto people, so there seems to be like a bigger weight gain once they get off the diet.
Right. And I mean that does happen. I've seen some instances where people are able to keep the weight off, and I'll tell you, it's a little bit of a nuance. So let me try and explain it. So you might have, say for example, you might have a completely unhealthy lifestyle. You have massive sugar cravings. You do not want to go exercise. Your sleep schedule is completely skewed. You have an overeating problem. Now you're like, no, I'm gonna change things around. I'm gonna go on this like extremely
life-changing diet,
extremely restrictive ketogenic diet. I'm gonna see where that takes me. Now, while you're doing that, you also start changing. You do start adding more fruits in your diet. You start adding more vegetables. You start going for your walk. You start taking care of
You're just more conscious of what you put in your mouth,
and then
do with your body.
Absolutely, and then maybe even when you stop being in a state of ketosis, if you've managed to make those changes, that's probably what's giving you the healthier body or the healthier. But our brain likes to make the association with whatever
confirmation bias, right?
Exactly.
I just want to do like, oh, this works, so you know what? I mean, this is what it is.
This is what it was.
We just like to simplify things.
And I mean, what I will say is that it's really never one thing. Again, I'll go back to the green tea. It's not one thing. It's going to be a cumulative effect of like a bunch of different things that you may have done.
But and then what about intermittent fasting? Everyone's like, oh, it's natural, it's what our body's supposed to do, and we feel so great doing it.
I would ask the same question. So I would ask, is it something that you can sustain for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, it's not worth getting onto in the first place. The other thing I will say is that I think the jury is still out. There's a lot of research that has good things to say about it, but at the same time, I think that the problem that we're facing today is that we've become over consumers of everything, including food. And intermittent fasting is challenging that, and it's kind of asking you to only consume 2 times a day. Now, even if you do that, and if you are adding a couple of snacks in a day or adding 1 extra meal, I think the idea is that we just need to do something extreme to feel like we've done something right. If I tell you that it's really very simple, it's just eat your 3 meals and eat your fruits and do your exercise and get your sleep. And don't be stressed out. And that's really it. That's all there is. But there's so many like intricacies within that. That those are hard to figure out.
But we sort of feel kind of pious if we're doing something that feels hard on ourselves.
Exactly.
If it's hurting us, it must be good for us. It's like the green juices that we drink, and I'm like, it's bitter, so it must be really good. And, I keep saying, just eat your palak instead.
Exactly. And you'll have your fiber.
Absolutely. And you chew and you give yourself biofeedback that now I'm chewing, now I'm getting full. If you just like slurp the whole thing down, it just bypassed so much of the digestion. So
but
I guess
astute.
Been there, done that. Okay, so now to the big topic that we've been that our homework required us to check out.
Yes.
The documentary, The Game Changers. Everyone's talking about it these days. Yes, it seems to be promoting a vegan or plant-based lifestyle, and you see some fabulous athletes that have gone to super heights in their career, and they attribute it to their diet. What are your thoughts on the documentary? And this isn't a judgment. This is just our opinion on this. So Tehzeeb, I value yours.
So I mean, I would say that the message, while I was watching it, I was like, yeah, okay. So I mean, plant-based is eating plants is a good thing. I mean, do we really need a reaffirmation for something like that?
Well, sometimes we do, I think.
I guess, but so I do think that the message that I took away from the documentary was that you can get. You don't need to eat animal-based protein to be able to get a complete source of protein in your body, which I think is very valid and very relevant as a message. But what I will say is that if you watch that documentary and if you're feeling shitty about eating your meat and you're feeling like, oh my god, I need to, and you love your meat, and it's making you feel bad about it, I would say that that might be like a difficult.
We put so much guilt on ourselves, and it's just going to add more stress to your life.
Exactly.
It's the same with intermittent fasting as well. The thing I'd say is that, if it's going to get in the way of your working out in the morning because you're so damn hungry, or if it's going to make you feel really low on energy, I mean, have this knowledge, but do the next best thing. That if living consciously is important to you, reduce the amount of meat that you're eating. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that again, I'll go back to, so there's nutrition science, and then there's the environment that I was talking about. So we know very clearly that if you are trying to eat sustainably, and if you're trying to eat in a way where you're able to lower the carbon footprint that you have on the planet, yes, giving up meat is the way to go. But it's not necessary that if you give up meat, it's healthier for you. And I think that it again comes down to the fact that everyone has a very different body biochemistry, very different. We operate very differently on a molecular level, and even keeping all of the chemistry aside, there's a lot of food is a very emotional process. So there's a lot of associations. So at least for me, I would say that for me, my job as a nutrition counselor is not to preach ideology. So I will not preach veganism or eating meat, or I will not ask someone to drink red wine when they don't drink for their heart health, right? So we're not here to inflict our biases on someone else. It's about, okay, what are the eating choices that you are making, and within that, how can I help you get healthier? That's the goal. And I think that that's the message people need to take away, that it's not, eating is not one way or the other to be healthy. It really depends on you and your lifestyle and on the choices that you make.
For sure. One of the questions that came up for me personally when I was watching this, and although my husband and I eat plant-based, I don't inflict my choices on my kids. What are your thoughts about children being raised on a vegetarian or a vegan diet? How healthy is that?
So again, I would say that it's personal choice. If the question is, will they be able to get all of their nutrients by being on a vegan or a vegetarian diet? The answer is yes. But my counter question to that would be, are they eating French fries? Or are they eating vegetables? Because vegetarian diets and vegan diets can also be very unhealthy, and so can animal-based diets.
We have some vegetarian communities in the country that are probably the most unfit, right?
There we go, exactly. I mean, it's not necessarily about what choice you're making. It's about what are the sub-choices you're making within that, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I think the other mistake that we make is that we've really reduced the variety that we have. I mean, in terms of grains, in terms of vegetables, fruit, we eat the same 2, 3, 4, 5, and that also then reinforces the idea that, vegetarian food is so boring. One thing that I do is, when we go to the market, I'm like, just pick up anything that you see, even if we don't know the name of it, we'll pick it up. We don't even know which part of it is edible. This is vegetables I'm talking about, and we just try something new. We often ask even the vegetable seller, like, what do we do with this? And that's how we're discovering more and more. And I'm so happy that there are biologists in different parts of the country that are growing more and more of our old vegetables and cereals that sort of went out of hot rotation.
Absolutely. So I think this is what I advise even to my patients and clients, that every week you need to try one new vegetable or one new fruit.
What a lovely idea.
And again, you have to do it without feeling the pressure to enjoy that vegetable. So there might be one of 3 reactions. Okay? You might be completely disgusted by it, in which case it's fine, don't buy it again for another 8 weeks. Maybe the 9th week you try again.
That's true, right? Because what you find abhorrent at the start, sometimes your taste buds will be different a few weeks later.
Because vegetables are an acquired taste, right? So you have to acquire the taste of it. It's not something that you're born with.
Yeah,
you're
that
born
means
understanding.
if you disliked bitter gourd Karela as a kid, give it a chance again. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's one reaction. You can be completely disgusted by it. The other reaction could be you might feel okay about it, in which case that's great. You know?
Yeah.
Or you might love it, in which case now you have one additional thing that you've added into your diet, your nutrient profile, and you have been able to build.
Wonderful. I would add though that one thing I often sort of encourage people to think about is also not to think too much about likes and dislikes when it comes to food. I mean, food doesn't have to be only entertainment and dopamine hits and instant gratification.
Yeah.
It's fuel at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if we're so focused on I like this and I don't like that, I mean it's going to be down to the French fries and the three other.
Absolutely. So I would say that there's two aspects to that. So one is we want the dopamine hits or that come from like the fried food, excessive salt, excessive fat, or excessive sugar. If you're constantly craving that, then there is something that might chemically or hormonally be wrong in the body.
Yeah.
The other thing is that if you're able to eat with sort of love and nourishment, your vegetables, your fruits, your other foods, and feel satiated after that meal, I think that's very important. But if you're eating with like I have people come up to me and be like, I hate eating it, but it's okay, I'll do it because I need to. That's again, on a it's not going to get really digested if you're going to be like, oh, I hate this food, but I need to eat it, and my body needs it.
It's the same that I say, when you're mindful eating, if you eat when you're angry or you're completely distracted, your sympathetic nervous system is activated. So that's the exact opposite of rest and digest, right?
Exactly.
So how are you possibly going to assimilate all of the nutrients that your food is offering you? Yeah, that's so true. Let's go back to the game changers again for a minute. This is about elite athletes now, which is also the biggest question we get about veganism, which is that they don't seem to be taking any supplements on this. Do we need to say I work out like 2 or 3 times a week. Again, I go back to that example, and I want to eat plant-based. Do I need to take a protein supplement?
Yeah. So
or any protein or any other supplement.
Let's talk about
B12 and all
that. So let's talk about both of them. Let's talk about nutrient supplements first. Now there are certain instances where they become very important. So for example, if you're a smoker, your body on a cellular level is going through a lot of damage. So you do need to supplement like a vitamin C or a vitamin E. If you are working out, depending on the intensity of your workout, you might need a supplement after your exercise, again, because your body is going through a cellular level damage. That is what exercise does, and then it builds like new cells after that, right? So you might need a supplement. If you live in Bombay and you're using the train every day, you're inhaling a lot of pollution and there's a lot of like stress in your commute, you might need a supplement. But again, it's not a blanket recommendation. It's a very case by case. If there are women who are deficient in iron, people are deficient in B12 and vitamin D. So of course, ideally, you need to get it through your food. And what I will say though, a supplement has to supplement a good diet. It can't be a replacement.
Absolutely.
So you can't be eating unhealthy foods all the time and then be like, oh, I'm just going to get my supplements and that's just going to give me my nutrients. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Which is why they also recommend you have it after one of your more wholesome meals of the day. So if you're having a meal which has a lot of B12 in it, right after that, if you have a B12 supplement, it'll get much better absorbed by your body.
Okay, that's good to know.
So that's supplements.
Yeah.
And then protein. I think one of the problems with the protein shake industry is that they've done all of their marketing around like these huge bodybuilders. So I don't think like normal or common people understand that they might even be, it might be useful for them too. So what I will say is that even if you're not working out and if you're having a small amount of a protein powder, like half a scoop, which is about 7 grams of protein, it'll be useful for you. Again, if you feel apprehensive about having a protein powder, then that's a different story. Then we can work with you to have protein from other sources. But having said that, if you were to have protein supplements, it's not going to harm you. It's only going to help you unless you're overdosing on it. So, if you're only having protein, this is how, again, coming back to
we do everything at extremes.
So if you're only having steak and you're only having eggs and then you're having protein and there's no carbohydrates, no fat, no fruit, no fiber, nothing in your diet, then it's gonna have a negative impact on your body. I mean, anything in extreme. Like, even if you're having just bowls of broccoli, just because it's healthy, if you're overeating or having it in excess, it's going to be bad for you. So just the concept then again of balance of moderation, of variety. All of these need to get embedded into our diets.
Okay. Guys, if you have any questions, do send them in. We were happy to take them. I'm really surprised. We normally get a lot of questions, and clearly you are quite mesmerizing in what you're saying. Really, this has been amazing, Tezu. Let me also then ask you about daily hacks. Now, for example, can I sense for myself that I'm doing okay, or do I need to take like a blood test? Do I need to go see a dietitian for me to know that I'm on track?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. So I think that if there is something wrong, you will know, and there will be signs and symptoms that will kind of allude to, oh, maybe I should go get a blood test. So you might feel very low on energy, you might feel really lethargic, you might feel very drained out, you might feel the need, you might have sugar cravings. So if any of those, you might have a hard time falling asleep at night. If you're having any of these symptoms, you might have irregular menstrual cycles for a woman. If you have any of these symptoms, then you should probably get a blood test to see what's going on.
Okay.
If not, I mean, usually I think after the age of 40, the recommendation is just one annual blood work every year, just to make sure everything's okay. And if something's not okay, then you can work on fixing that, and you test yourself again every 12 weeks or so, which is 3 months.
Right.
Till it's fixed.
And in terms of the diet, I mean, do we need a professional? When do we need a professional?
Yeah.
What is it that you find? What frustrates you about your profession?
So I would say that, I mean, I would say that if you are on track, you will know if you need a professional. If you feel like you're eating and you constantly have questions about, oh, but is this the right decision? Is it not? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do this? Then it might be good to seek help from a professional. But if you feel like your blood work is fine, you're exercising, everything's working out well for you, I don't think you'd need one. But I mean, just to play devil's advocate here, I would say that if you feel like it's just good to see one just to make sure that everything's okay, like a one-off session, I think that might not be a bad idea.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like one of the biggest investments you can make is into your health and into your eating, because this is the vehicle that has to carry you to achieve all your big goals.
Absolutely.
And so if we don't invest in that, what else should we be putting our money and our time?
And I think so. Going back to the challenge and to when, I would say that don't wait till things escalate to see someone. Even when things are okay, or when you just start to feel something going off, that's immediately when you get help from any health professional, not just a dietitian, but a doctor or a physiotherapist or whoever. Like, don't wait till things really build up.
Yeah. You must see a lot of that. What are the biggest frustrations for you as a dietitian? I mean, what is the one message you'd want to give, people that aren't in yet?
So, I mean, that is one of the biggest challenges. I think that one is that people sort of, when they get a really bad blood work or something really happens, that's when they seek help. That's one of the biggest challenges. The other challenge is that people want to see the change in like half a day or something, which I don't think is possible, because it's a process that takes time. So if anybody's telling you that, oh, eat this product and you're going to be fine in like 2 days, or you don't ever need to exercise, then you might have to start looking for a new professional, because I don't think their recommendation is based in some kind of a bias or some kind of a something that they're trying to promote, which might not be the correct approach. So that's another big challenge. People want to see results very immediately. I think those are.
And what about our obsession with weight? I mean, I know that your consultancy is called Scale Beyond Scale. Does that have something to do with the scales and our weight?
So I mean, it was a very strategically thought of name. So when I started working with people, even before I built the company, I realized that the recurring trend I was seeing is that everybody was really obsessed with the number on the weight scale. And so you put on 100 grams and you start feeling really bad about yourself, and you lose like the same 100 grams and you feel really good and you want to celebrate.
One more way for us to go through the ringer on a daily basis. Why we stress ourselves out like this?
And I just feel like that's, I mean, just from a scientific perspective, that's so flawed. You could be wearing a different pair of jeans. You would have not done your business in the morning. Like, it could be so many things because of which that kind of changes, right? So I think we have to start becoming more intelligent in what we look at. We need to look at something that's beyond the number on that weighing scale, and not allow that to like determine our self-worth, our self-confidence, how we feel that day.
That's so true. And I think also in terms of just holistically looking at it, like you said, it's not just about the eating. You mentioned we need to have good exercise, we need to have good sleep. If you had a few tips for anybody that's wherever we are right now, what are the few things we can start doing immediately that's going to build towards a healthier life? What would your advice be?
That's a great question. I think so. The first thing I would say is that look at what you're currently eating, and plug what you think is problematic. So if you think that you have to eat at restaurants way too much because you have a lot of work meetings that you go to, or if you think that you come back from work only at 10 p.m. so you only eat dinner at 10:30 and then you go to bed at midnight.
As a lot of us Indians do.
So you're having it really late. So figure out what is problematic in your lifestyle.
Okay.
Figure out just one thing, the most problematic. So if you find like say 4 things, try to prioritize them into like high priority, medium priority, low priority. So whatever is the high priority, start with that and try to change that. Work on it. Give yourself at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
Once you feel like you have kind of figured out a solution, so it could be maybe you're eating a dinner at work at 7 or 8 p.m. and then you're having another meal that's not like a full-fledged dinner when you come back home. That could be a solution. So figure out what that is, change that one thing, and do that every week or every 2 weeks. Try to change one habit.
Change one small habit.
Change one small habit.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's one. The other thing that might work for everybody is just eating less processed food. I think it really sort of finds its way in our diet. So having less of it will only be useful for you. So nothing out of a packet or a box.
And everything's being sold to us as like healthy packaged food.
So that's a good cue. If it's being sold as healthy, it might not be. So anything that has to, so you won't see the sabzi, the person you're buying your sabzis from selling carrots to you as healthy. Because he or she might not know that that's the positioning that you have to do. Versus if you're finding a box like oats or something that says like,
and you feel the need to have to say that listen, it's in a box, but it's healthy. That you should be a red flag.
Exactly. So that's the first. So eating less processed foods, eating more fruits and vegetables. I don't think that even as vegetarians, I don't think we do that enough.
That's so true.
Just getting those in, what you spoke about, getting some variety into your diet. Exercising, again, that could look whatever that looks for you. So if you are someone who has never exercised in their whole life, just starting with something very simple, very small. Again, I would highly recommend, if you don't know anything about exercise, and I will include myself in this list, getting an exercise professional to help you.
We talked about that.
So it could mean going to a class. It could mean getting someone to come home. So figure out if you think that you have all of the resources, but you are too lazy to go to a class, then call someone home. Then you have that accountability built in. So finding a way to get your exercise in. Sleep, something you spoke about. So I don't think people really underestimate how much sleep plays a role in your digestion. So when you have not been well rested, your hunger and satiety hormones, which is leptin and ghrelin, are completely thrown off. So you feel hungry at really odd times. You don't understand when you feel full, so you end up eating a whole lot more. So it's a simple thing. I mean, I guess not simple, but it's a worthy thing to change in your life, to find time for sleep or to have good quality sleep.
And it's going to feel a lot better than starving yourself on a diet
to
actually get a good night's sleep.
I mean, I think it kind of all works together. So you might not be well fed, and because of it you're not well rested. I mean, how many of us have tried to fall asleep and are so hungry, so we've had to go
get up and
raid a fridge at midnight
and we
eat something and then fall asleep.
Absolutely. And then that's when we pick the crap, right?
Because you've created that calorie deficit. So now your body is craving something that is high calorie to fill up that deficit very quickly. The body is very intelligent. So
and stress, I think that would be the last big thing, right, for us
So I mean, I would say ideally, I think we should all just move to the mountains and meditate and not have a day job. But like, stress is part and parcel of everybody's life. There's nothing we can do about it. But what we can do is how we react to our stress. I think and I think you might be the better person to talk about it.
So I think true living is navigating the world, not withdrawing from it, but to navigate it with equanimity. So I think with more people like you in this profession, people will truly look beyond the scale. Can you tell our viewers how they can reach you? And so
yes,
want to know more.
So Instagram handle is Scale Beyond Scale, and so is the Facebook
we'll share
page.
That.
And the website is also called scalebeyondscale.com. And if you want to reach out on email, then it's info@scalebeyondscale.com.
Okay, great. Desi, but we like to keep it at like half hour because everyone's got busy Saturdays. Thank you so much for
Thank
this.
you so much for having me.
Would you care to join me in a plant-based breakfast after this?
Absolutely.
Thank you everybody for joining us, and catch you again soon. Good luck with your 100 days of focus. Thank you, Tehzeeb. Bye everyone.